Give me love, oh, see I love the way you smile, baby. Give me love, oh, baby. For your love, I go celebrate. For your love, oh, I go jubilate.
So we are going to be talking to you about something pretty interesting today.
Things that we didn't even know.
Before we go ahead, we want to say a huge thank you to 23andMe for sponsoring this video. So 23andMe comes from the fact that human DNA is organized into 23 chromosomes. How interesting is that?
Well done, you paid attention in biology.
Well, I'm a doctor, I had to have passed biology. 23andMe is a personal genetic service that provides you more information about your DNA.
Yes.
And DNA is pretty important, and I feel like in the next few years it's going to be as important as having a passport.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you that. It's going to be as important as having a smartphone. Most people would want to know their ancestral background.
Right.
You'd want to know what influences a few of your features, like your facial features, your hair texture, kinky all the way, just saying. I think it's pretty awesome that we have this information at our fingertips, because understanding more about your DNA really does help you make decisions that influence your wellness, your lifestyle. True. It's very exciting to be human right now. And
just a couple of years ago, I mean, this was information that wasn't really available for us. So yeah, with obviously this improvement in technology and research and whatnot, you know, I think more and more people are going to be very, very interested in actually knowing all these things, and can really, really help you. And personally, I feel like we're at a stage now where we are also really, really interested in understanding more where we have come from, and you know, what that kind of means for our family. With Kian now turning 2 soon, the new baby on the way, almost here by the way, just a few more weeks to go. Really makes you reflect a lot, I think, more about, you know, where you come from, why you behave in a certain way, why you look in a certain way, and what that means for your kids. Yeah,
especially because David being German, me being Nigerian, living in Ireland, who knows what country we're going to move to. It's not enough to say you're from this country because you hold that passport.
It's true.
Because I think having kids, and depending on what country that we live, let's just say Ireland for now, like Kian walks into creche and he is pretty much about the only kid who has coily hair, right?
Yes.
So you'd have to understand your DNA to be like, okay, this is the reason why I have this feature, because my mother is from this background and my father is from this background. So irrespective of what country that we end up living, I know that the kids are going to be curious in the future to say, okay, mom, dad, where are you guys really from?
The questions are going to come soon.
Yeah, we're really excited that we ended up doing this.
And the interesting thing about 23andMe is that they provide you with 75 genetic reports about your health, your traits, and your ancestries. And you can also participate in a feature called DNA Relatives, where you can find out about relatives that share the same DNA with you and that you probably didn't know about.
Before we get to the most interesting part of this video, which is sharing with you our reports, we are going to show you how we use the kit. So the kit looks something like this. It's a very small compact box, and it says on the box saliva collection kit, so pretty much just for saliva. There's a little pack in here, very self-explanatory actually. So with diagrams and everything, they tell you step by step how to collect your saliva. The tube actually shows a fill-to line to indicate the amount of saliva that you're supposed to collect, and it's important not to eat or drink anything 30 minutes before you collect your sample. Now, time to collect my sample. It's really, really easy. And the good thing is the return address is behind the packet. So this is as easy as it gets. I'm really excited to send this off today and to get the results back. Actually, what will be more interesting will be seeing David's result, because I know he'll be very excited to see my results as well.
Give me love, oh, see I love the way you smile, baby. Give me love, oh, baby. For your love, I go celebrate. For your love, oh, I go jubilate.
The results are in.
The results are in, guys. So I knew, of course, that a huge part of me was African. But I think what I was most looking forward to was the other bits, like that minor percentage, what country is it from, what continent. It would interest you to know that I am 99.8% sub-Saharan African.
Surprise!
Like, okay.
No bits and pieces anywhere else.
I literally didn't think it would be this much.
Yeah.
99.8%. I am less than 0.1% South Asian.
Yeah. Well,
and,
at least.
and 0.1% unassigned.
Wow, so not even anything about European or anything.
Nothing.
There you go. There you
Nothing.
go. No surprise.
Yeah, no surprise. I mean, I'm pretty impressed by that result. So that's it for my ancestry.
So on my end, the results were actually very similar in the sense that there weren't many surprises, right? Nothing really out of the ordinary. It was pretty obvious, you know, that I was gonna be European. So it turns out that I'm 100% European. Completely.
Boring. You know,
Right.
before your results came in, I did actually believe that you would have some African in you because of the way that you dance.
Nah, no.
And but obviously you do know that your environment does play a huge influence on you, not just your DNA. But it was still very shocking that you're 100% European.
Exactly, yes, that's true. But within that, the interesting thing though is that I'm actually about 65% French and German. So there's a bit of a French side of me apparently, at least somewhere down the line, which is interesting.
I mean, I kind of, you know, knew that if I wasn't with a German, I'll be with a French guy.
So you always felt that mixture,
I
right?
always felt
Very
good. That's why we chose each other.
And the rest of the DNA is mostly made up of British, Irish, and then a bit of the Nordic countries. So Finland, Sweden, and it's a mixture of all of them together. But yeah, so very much white European.
So it's not really out of place that we live in Ireland.
Actually, funny enough, no, and I would love to actually, you know, you see what kind of part, you know, is actually my Irish ancestry, and we meet some relatives of mine in Ireland.
Let's go on a road trip. Dig them out.
If Obama has relatives here, I'm not surprised I have some, you know, so.
Another report that we found really interesting with 23andMe is the wellness report, which basically illustrates how your DNA influences your wellness and lifestyle choices.
Right.
And there are 3 things in my wellness report that I found very interesting and true.
Yeah.
The first one is caffeine consumption. Like, I'm such a tea person.
Yeah, you are.
And if I was to have coffee, it's more of a social thing.
True.
Like, we're meeting in the cafe, let's get a caramel macchiato. It's not because I really need coffee.
Yeah.
The second thing is the sleep movement. Yeah. So I'm most likely average or less.
Definitely. And once you sleep, you sleep.
Yeah, I stay in the same position. I don't move around. And the third most interesting thing is lactose intolerance.
Right.
So most of you may be aware or might not be aware that most Africans are lactose intolerant. And I happen to be one of them. Mine is not to a very severe degree. No. For me,
compared to Adanna, I am actually lactose tolerant, which is completely true. Another point in my report that I found very, very interesting is called genetic weight. And it does state that I'm predisposed to weigh less than the average, which again is pretty true because I do actually remember several instances when I was younger or growing up as a teenager, you know, I desperately tried to gain weight, you know, like when you're at the time you want to build muscles and whatnot, and I always had problems with that. Yeah, that's pretty true as well.
Unlike now.
What? Did you just shade me on camera in front of everybody? What? I can't believe that. I'm out of here.
I'm kidding, David.
And the third point in my report that I wanted to really highlight because I was a little surprised by it, it does state that apparently my muscle composition is uncommon in elite athletes.
Moving on to the genetic health risk report. This report does give you an idea of how your genes impacts your risk for certain diseases. And being in the healthcare profession, the 2 most common that people would be worried about for the future are Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's.
Definitely, yes.
And the good news is nothing was detected.
Exactly. None of us had the variants in the DNA, at least they weren't detected. So that's good news.
Yeah.
The third report is the carrier status report, which indicates whether you are a carrier for inherited conditions such as cystic fibrosis or sickle cell.
Interestingly, based on my background being African and having confirmed that with my DNA today, guys,
very much so.
I know that sickle cell is common amongst Africans.
Really, yeah.
And so that's an aspect of the report that I was looking forward to finding out.
Right.
It does turn out that a variant was detected for sickle cell anemia.
Right.
Now, having a variant of sickle cell doesn't necessarily mean that it would affect my health, but could affect the health of my family. I know, of course, that my genotype is AS, which means I am a carrier of sickle cell. So in this case, if I had mated with another AS, there's a 1 in 4 chances that we would have had a child with sickle cell.
And on my end, none of the variants for any of the inherited diseases was detected.
So the last report that we'll be sharing with you guys are the trait reports. And this basically tells you how your DNA influences your physical features, your taste preferences, and other traits.
Right.
There's a long list of them, but I'm going to pick out the ones that I found really hilarious but true. The first report I found hilarious is my toe length ratio.
I didn't even know something like this existed.
I didn't even know that
it.
existed, which accurately detected that my second toe is likely longer than my first.
That's incredible, actually, that they detected it just from your saliva.
Honestly, I know, guys, when we vlog, I don't go around showing you my feet.
Nope.
But it would interest you to know that my second toes are slightly longer than the first toes. The next thing is the skin color, which was likely to be dark. Duh, if I'm 99.8% sub-Saharan African.
Very much so,
my skin better be dark. And then the third thing that I found hilarious was unibrow. So, I mean, I've seen a couple of people with unibrow, and I just thought it was, I didn't know it was an actual thing. It's an actual thing, and I'm likely not to have had unibrow, which I don't have. Yeah. So I found that very interesting.
Very true, yeah. Now my toe length ratio, just to put it out there, is has not found anything. The big toe is taller than all the other ones, so that's fine, that's normal.
But my toe looked perfect.
It's beautiful, don't worry. My skin pigmentation is, for obvious reasons, likely to be lighter. Duh. And a third aspect that I found interesting, what they call sweet taste. So where they try to analyze whether you're more likely to prefer sweet or salty food. And they have accurately analyzed that I prefer salty food, which is very, very true. So well done, that's interesting.
Well done.
So that was definitely fun to go through the reports and compare a little bit as well. What we expect and what we didn't expect. And it was great actually learning a bit more about our health, our traits and our ancestry.
And it's important for you to understand that the genetic reports and the carrier status report that you get are not a diagnosis. The genetic risk is definitely one of the factors that contribute to your development of a disease, but you also have to take into account your lifestyle and your environment. So any of these reports you get is not supposed to be a diagnosis, but it's supposed to help you make decisions that influence your lifestyle and your wellness. And with the report, you can discuss with your healthcare professional to make decisions that are best for your current health status. So you have to be aware that this is a guide.
So if you also want to learn more about your DNA, your health and your traits, we encourage you to sign up with 23andMe. We are providing you with a link down below here, and you can find it also in the description box below, where you can find all of the promotions they have currently running, where you can order your kit and get your reports done. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
We hope that you enjoyed learning more about us the same way that we enjoyed it. And thank you once again, 23andMe, for providing us with these incredible reports and for so much fun.
Lastly, before you go, I want you guys to comment below if you're surprised that David doesn't have any African ancestry.
And also do let us know if you actually ended up getting your own reports.
Thank you so much for watching,
guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Give me love, oh, see, I love the way you smile, baby. Give me love, oh, baby. For your love, I go celebrate. For your love, oh, I go jubilate. Baby, wait, check out your relate. See,